You can feel it, that electric buzz in the air that always comes before a seismic shift in the royal landscape. And today, squad, we are talking about a win. A victory so undeniable, so long overdue, and so humiliating for the people who spent years weaponizing power against Prince Harry and his family, that you can practically hear the palace walls vibrating. Because today we are talking about justice. We are talking about protection. We are talking about responsibility. And most importantly, we are talking about a man who refused to bow, refused to shrink, refused to be intimidated, and instead fought the British state itself for the right to protect his wife and children. Let's start with the truth the tabloids can't stand. Harry was right. Harry was justified. And Harry has been vindicated. After years of being mocked, years of being painted as dramatic, paranoid, entitled. After years of the media screaming, security is a privilege, and the palace pretending their hands were tied. Suddenly, the British government has been forced into a full-scale review of Harry's UK security. A review they tried to avoid. A review they hoped he'd give up on. A review he fought for tooth and nail. Because when it comes to Meghan, Archie and Lilibet, this man refuses to play games with their safety. And just like that, the door has been kicked wide open. Not politely knocked, not gently pushed, kicked open. Because when Harry fights, he fights with evidence, with principle, with facts, not with leaks or palace PR stunts. And now, after years of gaslighting, the same government that insisted the system was rigorous and proportionate has been forced to admit the obvious. They cannot continue to justify denying security to a man who was born into the most dangerous family in the world's most notorious press ecosystem. Let's tell it like it is. This whole situation was never about protocol. It was never about cost. It was never about fairness. It was about punishment. Punishment for marrying a black woman. Punishment for choosing mental health over monarchy. Punishment for refusing to sacrifice his wife on the altar of tabloid entertainment. Punishment for protecting his children instead of feeding them to photographers. And when Harry said he couldn't bring Meghan and the kids to the UK without security, the same media that endangered him for years had the audacity to act confused. Why isn't Harry bringing Archie and Lilibet to meet their grandfather? Why are the Sussexes staying in California? What are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? Are we serious? This is the same country where a deranged extremist broke into Windsor Castle with a crossbow talking about killing the Queen. This is the same country where Harry has repeatedly been targeted by neo-Nazis. This is the same media ecosystem that hunted Diana to her death and then dared to blame her for trying to escape them. And they want to know what Harry is afraid of? No. The real question is, why did they think they could deny him security in the first place? Because the institution, the firm, was playing politics. Because certain senior royals and courtiers were comfortable letting Harry become a cautionary tale. Because the tabloids needed a villain, and the palace needed a distraction. They tried to make an example out of him, and instead, they forced him into becoming the one royal who actually understands the system better than they do, because he's had to fight every inch of it. And now the government, the police and the palace, all three components of Revek, are suddenly collecting evidence, interviewing his team, reviewing risk assessments they kept forgetting to conduct, re-examining decisions they pretended were final. Why? Because Harry didn't drop it. Because Harry didn't back down. Because Harry didn't get tired. They underestimated him. They always do. But they shouldn't. Because Harry is his mother's son, and Diana didn't give up either. And let's talk about the timing, because this part right here is chef's kiss delicious. After years of coldness, silence and distance, Harry saw his father in September, the first time in 19 months. And what happened? Suddenly the government is holding a full-scale review of Harry's security. Now, we're not saying Charles picked up the phone. We're not saying he didn't. But we are saying this. When Harry wins, everybody starts acting brand new. Let's not forget that during his legal appeal, which he lost, it was revealed that Harry and Meghan had not even been assessed since 2019. 4 years. 4 years without a proper risk evaluation, despite constant threats, constant press hysteria, constant targeted campaigns. That wasn't an oversight. That was negligence disguised as bureaucracy. And the palace's favourite excuse, the king cannot influence security decisions, was not only inaccurate, it was insulting. Because anyone who understands the British establishment knows the monarchy has influence everywhere. They don't need to order, they only need to suggest. But here's the twist. The case is done. The legal block is gone. And now conversations can happen. And DID happen. A father and son saw each other. A framed picture of Archie and Lilibet exchanged hands. A moment of humanity broke through the politics. And the system shifted. Not because the palace wanted it to. Not because the tabloids wanted it to. But because Harry forced the truth into the light. And now the question on everyone's lips, especially in those panicked, sweaty palace corridors, is simple. Will Harry bring Meghan, Archie and Lilibet back to the UK? And the answer is, he can. For the first time, he truly can. Because when security is reinstated, and make no mistake, this review is a gateway. It opens everything the palace has been terrified of. Harry returning on his own terms. Meghan returning with dignity and protection. Archie and Lilibet stepping onto British soil with the full status and safety they deserve. The king meeting his grandchildren in person. Public sympathy swinging heavily toward the Sussexes. The narrative shifting. The monarchy losing the Harry abandoned the family storyline. Imagine the optics. Harry stepping off a plane with Meghan glowing beside him. Their children by their side, protected by the very institution that once tried to strip them bare. The tabloids would collapse under the weight of their own hypocrisy. The anti-Sussex trolls would be apoplectic. The palace would scramble to rewrite history and pretend they supported this all along. And you can already predict the headlines. Harry returns a hero. Meghan's grace shocks critics. Archie and Lilibet charm the nation. Because the media always flips once they're forced to eat their words. But let's be clear, Harry didn't fight this battle for optics. He fought it because he is a father. He fought it because he is a husband. He fought it because he refuses to let history repeat itself. The British security apparatus failed Diana. Harry refused to let it fail Meghan. And anyone who has a problem with that needs to look in the mirror and ask themselves why a man protecting his black wife and mixed-race children makes them uncomfortable. Harry is vindicated. Meghan is validated. Archie and Lilibet are being prioritised for the first time since their birth. And the system that thought it could bully them into silence is now being forced into transparency. This is not just a review. This is a reckoning. And the people who spent years mocking, belittling, smearing and underestimating Harry are now in the same position they tried to put him in, powerless. Because Harry did what the monarchy fears most. He acted independently. He told the truth, and he won. So, squad, as we witness this moment, this turning point, let's remember something important. You cannot destroy a man who is fighting for his family. You cannot intimidate a man who has nothing left to fear. You cannot silence a man who has already exposed the system. Harry didn't leave the monarchy. The monarchy lost Harry. And now they're losing the narrative, the moral high ground, and the blind loyalty they took for granted. This is the Sussex era. This is the accountability era. This is the era where truth wins, even if it takes years. And today, Harry won. And if you're loving this deep dive, if you appreciate the truth without the tabloid spin, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and support the channel through super thanks so we can keep exposing the hypocrisy, uplifting Harry and Meghan, and bringing you the real royal narrative, not the palace-approved fairy tales. Squad, I'll see you on the next one, because the comeback has only just begun. Harry is vindicated. Meghan is protected. The children are finally safe. And the truth is unstoppable.